are listening to the most original talk radio station anywhere. We are LA Talk Radio at latalkradio.com.
You're listening to Film Courage with David Brannon and Karen Warden on LA Talk Radio.
Welcome to episode 130 of Film Courage here on LA Talk Radio. My name is Karen Warden. You can find our archives on filmcourage.com as well as iTunes and Movie Garage.
My name is David Brandon. On Friday, we had the chance to hang out with filmmakers Victoria Westcott, Marty Lang, and Lucas McNelly.
Great time.
And just as we were saying our goodbyes at the end of the night, Lucas, he gave us his point of view on why he believes Indiegogo is setting you up to fail.
Well, sounds like you're alluding to our upcoming panel discussion on crowdfunding this Tuesday, September 20th.
And I got to tell you, I mean, Lucas's point of view, it's a point.
Valid.
I can't really disagree with what he has to say. We're super excited for our event. Hot Pixel Post Production is hosting the event at their post production facility in North Hollywood. I really can't wait. Yeah,
and Zach Forsman says he has a formula that can help you determine how much money you can raise. I'm looking forward to that one.
We have a great group of panelists. They include filmmakers Lucas McNelly and Zach Forsman, as well as Victoria Westcott. Excuse me, I'm getting hyped up about her last name here. Meg Pinsonneau and Distributor CEO Adam Chapnick, who is also Chief of Distribution at Indiegogo.
Yeah, and I believe altogether our panelists have crowdfunded nearly $100,000, so we're thrilled to have them on board, and it's going to be a lively and informative discussion. We're hoping to stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're looking at...
We like a little controversy.
Controversy, but also just give people some just great information for anyone considering jumping into crowdfunding themselves. Seating is limited, but we do currently have tickets available. Go to our Facebook page or filmcourage.com for more information.
Today's episode of Film Courage is sponsored by Lapse, the series.
Lapse, a comedy about life, love, and the pursuit of not being a fat ass.
Wow, okay.
I don't know. I mean,
winner of
this is the read they give me.
Best Web Series of this year's New York International Film Festival. It's created by Chad Diaz, who placed in this year's Nickel Fellowship in Screenwriting.
No, we love Chad.
We love
Chad
him.
Diaz.
Yeah, he's great. He came out to our interactive, and that's how we met him.
Yeah, no, and we're impressed by the way he's packaging together this series. You can watch all the latest episodes now at lapsetheseries.com. You can purchase Lapse for your iPhone or your iPad. The app is 99 cents at the iTunes App Store, and you can get all the episodes and plus the extra features.
Yeah, and it's independently produced and independently distributed. So for more information, please visit lapsetheseries.com.
Our guests today are filmmakers Mark and Michael Polish, as well as the Munich-born, LA-based composer Kubilay Uner.
Identical twins, Mark and Michael, are known for their visually stunning films such as Twin Falls, Idaho, Jackpot, North Fork, The Astronaut Farmer, The Smell of Success, Stay Cool, and For Lovers Only.
Their films have featured talent such as Leslie Ann Warren, Daryl Hannah, Bruce Willis, Peggy Lipton, John Grice, Nick Nolte, Kyle MacLachlan, James Woods, Billy Bob Thornton, Claire Forlani, Bruce Dern, Virginia Madsen, Tia Leone,
and many, many more.
Yeah, and many more.
And their latest film, For Lovers Only, starring Stana Katic of Castle and Mark Polish, bypassed theatrical distribution, went straight to the internet, and had one of the biggest independent film releases that we've really ever seen. Currently over 500,000, so not bad for a film that was made on no budget.
We have a lot of folks excited for this discussion.
We have a lot of questions
coming forward here. Kubilay Uner, the Polish brothers composer on Stay Cool and For Lovers Only, which you've already mentioned, Stana Katic of Castle and Mark Polish. Kubi has a long list of feature film scores and TV pilot credits, as well as concert works. Kubi is quoted as saying, "Whether the music is part of a film or stands on its own, my goal is to deliver an intense experience, one that completely immerses and transforms the listener. I believe a good piece of music should take you on a journey."
Please welcome to the Film Courage studio, Michael Polish, Kubilay Uner, and via telephone in Germany, Mark Polish. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Hi.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. All right.
I like that intro.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you.
It should be.
Makes you feel old.
I remember working with them.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll start this question off for Michael or Mark, and then we'll go to you, Kubi. Did you always believe you were going to be in the film business, and were there ever any doubts in the beginning that you were going to make it?
You know, when you grow up in love with cinema and you go to every movie under the sun, and you choose that's what you want to do, there's no real falling back. You just try your hardest to keep doing it and keep doing it. We didn't have the means of production growing up outside of, even in high school, we didn't have it. So we would draw everything. We would draw our films out. And when we got to Cal Arts, it was even closer to making those things happen. Making movies and being a success is just it's a different road. You know, you don't know if you're going to make it. You just want to make a movie. You know.
Okay, so that's been the driving force.
Yeah, it's been the driving force. Is you have to make something. You have to make a movie, and do you go to Hollywood and try and make it? Because that's a long road if you don't have any connections. So our deal was, Mark was acting and I was shooting a lot of my own films, was to put Mark in front of the camera, and he needed a director, I needed an actor, and so we wrote a screenplay together and made a movie.
Okay. Mark, do you have anything to add?
Well, you know, it is, you know, it's always a difficult road because it's unpaved at that point. We come out of a small town and have our ideas of how to make movies, and I think you're a little naive in the sense that, you know, I remember getting a first screenplay, looking at it, and it had minimal dialogue, minimal text. You know, I think I can do that, you know, and then realizing the craft behind it. So, you know, there was a big learning curve alongside learning how to make a movie and being in Hollywood.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's perseverance at its best.
Okay. Kubi?
For me, I always knew I was going to be a musician. And then I started to realize that the only place that would allow me to be the kind of musician that I want to be is film. And I also realized that I was watching way more movies than I was going to concerts or even listening to albums. So then I kind of realized, no, I'm a filmmaker, only my contribution is the music. And I realize now that I actually write as if I was making a film when I write music that has nothing to do with film as well. So I guess that's...
Okay. Have there been manic highs and lows with your career? I mean, when have you been most worried about making your next film? And have you ever come close to giving up?
You know, you don't give up, but you always look at the perspective of where you're at after every movie. You want to make... Independent filmmaking is changing all the time. Who's going to fund it? Because you're independent of any Hollywood studio, so the money comes from other avenues, even though there are production companies set up in LA. So every time we want to start a picture, you have to pick the right picture. You have to pick the right person that's going to... That match is always difficult. Sometimes you get a really great match and you make a good experience out of it, and sometimes it's not so much. And you know, after finishing Stay Cool and seeing and having that wasn't a very good experience for us, that movie. And that was one time when me and Mark questioned, like, do we want to keep doing this? Because it's one of those nightmare stories of when this movie gets released, this isn't going to be the type of movie that you wanted to make.
And it was back-to-back experience.
Yeah, it was back-to-back.
It wasn't just Stay Cool, it was also Manure.
Yeah, it was Manure. Yeah, it was Manure and Stay Cool, and this was a great experience in filming it, but once those movies were done, they just took a turn where we didn't expect, which was the financier wanted to take over the films, recut them, and release them himself, and that took us out of the equation. That was the first time that happened to us, and that was a learning experience for us.
You know, Mark, can you talk a little bit more about that? You know, about where you guys were, and just maybe a little bit more about how close you really were to giving up.
Yeah, I mean, those were some very, very dim, dark days, I think, you know, between all of us, because even Kubi had a really terrible experience as well. It's unfortunate that you run into financiers that have a different mindset and a different goal than the filmmakers, and unfortunately, you know, they have every right to recoup their financial means, but the way they're going to go about it just didn't agree with us. And at that point, when you spend so much time writing them both, which was a couple years prior, making them, casting them, getting really close to your castmates, having friendships, and bringing in people from Billy Bob to Taya on one end, and Ed Helms to Hilary Duff to Winona Ryder, Josh Holloway. You have all this group of people that are trusting you to take their talent and do something with it. And so when it's out of your hands, I mean, there's just an amazing darkness that you go into, because you admire these people, watching Winona when we were younger, from where we're at, and to be able to work with her and then try to showcase that, and that's disappearing from you. It's really dark, and at that point you go, is this the business I want to be in? If this amount of darkness is going to hit you on this level, you start fantasizing about the mundane jobs you can do. Filling Twinkies in the factory look pretty good at a certain point, because at least you know what's coming down the line and you know what you're going to produce. I mean, that's how dark it was at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I compare it to an abduction of a child, and I have a child, but it was one of those things where you go, well, I have these two films, and we have nothing to do with them at this point, and they're free to do whatever you want to do with them. So it was tough. I mean, it's still tough when you think about it.
So why did you not give up?
Because you can't kill the filmmaker. You can't kill.
Go ahead, Mike.
You can't kill passion. You can't kill the spirit of somebody just over two movies. And if you look at history and you look at other filmmakers and people you admire, like Sergio Leone, and you admire Orson Welles, and you admire the filmmakers that came before you, each one had a debacle. Francis Ford Coppola had it. You look at history and it tells you you're in great company if this happens to you. It's okay.